His fucking head.
Oh no.
All of that to get caught in a shed. Welcome back to Sidemen Reacts. Today you have myself,
Whoa.
Harry, Ethan,
What was that
and
noise,
Vic.
Vic?
What just happened? What just happened?
Vic just made noise. I don't know what noise he
turned
made.
into a little woo boy? Today we're watching top 10 craziest prison escapes of all time.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I love a good Prison Break. What an elite series.
What a series.
Season 1 Prison Break, undefeated.
Everyone here's seen Prison Break, right?
Yeah,
It's the one series I actually really enjoyed. Yeah,
Really nice.
Yeah.
Even Harry.
Yeah, mate.
Alright.
Harry's not even a TV guy, that's when you know.
Dude doesn't watch anything. All right. I'll run the video.
TheRichest.com.
Going to prison isn't what most of us plan for, and if we become inmates, the first thing we want is freedom. Some prisoners will go to extreme measures to make sure that happens. Here are 10 craziest prison escapes.
Well.
That needs to be our thumbnail. We
Yeah,
need a
I think
thumbnail
so.
like this.
He's doing pull-ups with a
Throw
green
that
arrow.
up on.
How I escaped prison, I did a pull-up on a helicopter.
I respect it, bro.
Jack Sheppard.
Okay.
On the boy.
In 1723,
Fucking head. Zerko is a child.
It's just a depiction of his head. It's not his actual head.
Are you sure, bro?
It's not a photo, is it?
Oh yeah, good point.
Jack Sheppard was originally going to become a carpenter, but he decided to start stealing and becoming a burglar to pay his bills. In just a span of 1 year in 1724, Sheppard was arrested 5 times and managed to escape 4 times.
What?
It is even
Elite.
likely that he invented the trick of tying bed sheets out of the window. He was also very charismatic and started to attract crowds, thus becoming a small-scale celebrity. With each capture, the chains became heavier and the locks were stronger, but they didn't hold Sheppard back. Eventually, he was captured and hung in November 1724, and the crowd that came to watch the hanging prevented his friends from retrieving his body so they could take him to a doctor to be revived. Yes, he even had an escape plan from death.
You lot, could you
I
imagine
respect
it?
the plan.
Could you imagine if like that still existed today? Like, imagine
Public hanging.
I don't know. Yeah, but like imagine Bazinga tried to steal from the House of Commons or something, and they just had me outside the London Eye. Right,
Yep.
today Bazinga's getting it.
If you hopped on a flight to some
Certain
countries,
places.
Certain countries,
certain
yeah,
places,
yeah, yeah.
you might.
No.
John Dillinger. John Dillinger was known to the FBI as public enemy #1, who had a
big guy.
life
Look at his eye, he does.
dedicated to crime. He is known as one of the most notorious bank robbers of our time.
Secure that
He
bag,
and his
Roger.
gang went on a robbery spree in the Midwest.
Only 30 grand. Peasant.
Back then, mate, 30 grand was
bread back
30
then.
million.
Inflation, homie.
Put it in Bitcoin, he'd have fucking billions now.
Robbing banks, and even a few police stations. He was eventually put into prison in January 1934 in the escape-proof Lake County Jail in Crown Point, Indiana. However, on March 3, 1934, Dillinger and an inmate used a fake gun carved out of wood and painted with shoe polish and forced his way out of prison. Not to mention, he
Great
stole the
that.
sheriff's new V8 Ford as his
Jeez.
getaway car.
What?
Freedom didn't last for long, though, as
no.
Dillinger
Oh.
was shot dead
Oh.
by the FBI a year later.
He got a year out.
I imagine the driving the V8 was nice, but
Yeah.
But he felt like a god. He's just whipping out of prison.
Frank Lee Morris and John and Clarence Anglin. Alcatraz was known as one of the most isolated prisons in the world.
I've been there.
Have you?
have you?
Yeah.
You served time.
Yeah, mate, I did
you
one
do?
day. One day back in 2004.
Is it still active? Is there still inmates in there? Or is it like a
No.
No.
So, like a museum now.
And it was considered to
That's
be
cool, though.
impossible to
Yeah.
escape it, as it was a lonely rock in the middle of the San
It
Francisco
is a good idea,
Bay.
you know.
However,
Yeah.
on June 11th,
This is
1962,
a good one.
Frank Lee
Yeah.
Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin devised an ingenious plan to escape from the rock.
They used spoons.
Over the course of a year, the 3 inmates used tools to dig a tunnel in the adjacent walls that led into an unused service corridor. Then they climbed a ventilation shaft to the roof.
I don't get how you do this unnoticed. Like, surely they come and check and see, mate, there's a hole in your wall. Like,
No, they cover it up with something.
They covered it, yeah.
Then they made a raft out of raincoats and contact cement from the prison's supply cache. After filling the raft with air, they left Alcatraz around 10 p.m. To make it seem like they were still in their cells, the inmates made fake heads out of hair, soap, and toilet paper so the guards would think they were sleeping. It wasn't until the next morning when the guards realized what happened. Morris and the Anglins were never found
they
or
might have
heard
died.
from
They just
again.
got away.
The
They might
FBI
have died in the river,
investigated
though.
for 17 years before concluding the 3 men likely drowned.
But
I reckon the FBI just said that because they were fuming. They couldn't find them. I'd like to think they heisted it. They pulled it off.
Anglin, them man there. If you're
about-
watching, or if any of your kids are watching, if any of your kids are watching Sidemen nowadays, let us know and then tell us the story. Cheers.
Yeah, 100%. Get them on.
Frank Abagnale. The name probably sounds familiar as Leonardo DiCaprio played Frank Abagnale in the movie Catch Me If You Can. The real-life Frank was a world-renowned con artist. In 1971, U.S. prisons were being evaluated due to numerous civil rights violations. It just so happened that the U.S. Marshal forgot his prison detention papers when Abagnale arrived in Atlanta, Georgia. The guards thought Abagnale was an undercover inspector, and he played it off. He was given special privileges, better meals, and awesome treatment. Then he got his friend Gene Sebring to doctor business cards to make it look like they were from the government. Posing as Abagnale's fiancée, she slipped him both cards, one for himself and the other for a fake FBI agent whose number went to a payphone in Atlanta that was picked up by Sebring. Abagnale put on a story of how he needed to get in touch with the FBI, offer both cards to the guards, and arrange for Sebring to pick him up from the front door of the prison. Meanwhile, the guards were patting themselves on the back, thinking that they weren't fooled by the faux prison inspector.
Mate, this
Wait,
guy's
so-
had him on strings.
What happened? Someone else messed up and they just played it off.
Nah, he
So I think he convinced them that like the FBI were coming to.
But he said someone else
interrogate him.
forgot his documents, no?
Yeah, someone else messed up, so they didn't,
Okay,
I think, know his record, and then they thought he was faking it, but then he got a fake FBI guy to come and collect him.
Right.
And then they were like, oh, we've got him, we've handed him over to the FBI, he's going to get like sorted out now, and he's going to come back with the right papers. But it's actually just his mate, and he's driven off.
They were twerking for him. The guards were twerking.
That's what I think. I don't know. That's my understanding. But yeah.
So are we about to see the helicopter? Is that actually how we were taking the mic at the start?
There we go.
All right.
Go on.
Mountjoy Prison Helicopter Escape. On October 31st, 1973, 3 members of the Provisional Irish Republican Army, J.B. O'Hagan, Seamus Toomey, and Kevin Mallon, had an escape worthy of a scene from a movie.
It's recent as
Oh,
well.
the bloody IRA, mate. They know their stuff about escaping from. They'll go good heist, they will.
They can definitely do pull-ups.
While serving time at Mountjoy Prison, the IRA was making plans to bust out their 3 members. They hijacked an Alouette 2 helicopter from a town called Stradbally in Countleash, Ireland. Armed men from the IRA forced the pilot to fly to the prison and land in the exercise yard. From there, the helicopter flew to Baldoyle Racecourse, where the men got into a car and headed to Dublin. The escape was seen as an embarrassment to the Irish prison system, and a song was even written about it by the Wolftones called the Helicopter Song.
Creative name.
Well, wait. I didn't see a pull-up.
Yeah. I'm just saying, at the same time, like, if a helicopter lands in your prison yard and there's 3 guys with AKs in there, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know if you can really plan for that.
No, that's a bit of a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's happening in the yard?
Oh,
dearie me.
Well, off you pop.
Oh, loud.
Okay.
Oh, loud.
Have a good day, everyone.
Andrew Rodger, Keith Rose, and Matthew Williams. Andrew Rodger, Keith Rose, and Matthew Williams made history in 1995
He looks a bit of a nonce, I'm not gonna lie.
after they pretty much just walked out the Parkhurst prison in the United Kingdom. They worked in the prison's sheet metal shop and managed to make all the tools they needed for their escape. They made a 25-foot steel ladder to help them scale the fence, as well as a skeleton key that could unlock every door in the prison. How did they manage that? They were able to carve the key out from memory after seeing a guard's key.
God.
They also made a gun.
Hang Hang on, what? How do you remember what a kid? How?
Some people are built like that. But do you know what though? If you're locked in jail for the rest of your life, it's gonna make you. It's gonna give you some sort of superpower. Their superpower was.
Do you know what's the other thing though? The other thing is that they could trial and error it. So they could make it. They could try it. If it doesn't work, they could change a little bit, try it. Like.
And if they was trusted enough to just work in the metal shop, then GG.
But how do they make a 25-foot ladder without getting clocked?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
They unlocked the back door of the gym, cut a hole in the inner gate, and scaled the outer fence. They were caught 4 days later hiding in a shed, and they were trying to plot out a plan to steal an airplane.
All of that to get caught in a shed.
That's
The
that's gotta
Texas
be
7.
triggering.
In December 2000, 7 inmates forced their way out of the John B. Connolly unit in Kennedy, Texas, which was a maximum security prison. The men managed to overpower 2 guards and 8 maintenance men, stole their clothes, keys to a truck, and locked them in a utility closet. Led by 30-year-old George Rivas, the group was able to fool several other guards into giving them their weapons before tying them up and escaping in the truck. The group then went on a crime spree in San Antonio and Dallas, plus killing an officer in
course you're gonna get
both places, and then making their way into Colorado before they were finally captured.
Idiots.
One of the men committed suicide before being recaptured, and the rest were taken back to the prison.
You just got free, you big idiot.
T.J. Lane. In 2012, T.J. Lane killed 3 of his
This guy escaped from
classmates in a
prison.
school shooting and was sentenced to serve 3 life sentences
Oh,
at
I've
the
seen this
Allen
guy.
Correctional Institute in Lima, Ohio. In September 9, 2014, Lane, along with convicted murderer Lindsay Bruce and convicted kidnapper Clifford Opperud, used a homemade ladder to scale the walls to climb on top of the prison building and then jump 15 feet onto the other side of the prison walls and escape on foot. The 3 were able to build the ladder after breaking into a locked crawl space and finding their materials there.
So it's like you see the ladder's like duct tape and things, so you can like
Yeah.
roll it
so
up,
you can roll
and
it up.
sling it over. Yeah.
Lane and the other inmates were found within 9 hours of their escape. Choi Gap-bok. In September 2012, 50-year-old Choi Gap-bok was arrested on suspicion of robbery and then was put into a detention cell at the police station in the city of Daegu.
Looks like a fish, like a mummified fish.
Didn't have to do him like that.
Gap-bok was a yoga practitioner of 23 years and had stayed in the jail cell for 5 days. Then, he applied skin ointment on the upper part of his body and managed to escape through the food slot while 3 guards were sleeping.
Through the food slot.
What?
That's why he looks like a fish, mate, because he is.
Gap-bok is only 5'4", and the slot was 5.9 inches tall and 17.7 inches wide. He bought himself some time by putting pillows and blankets in his bed to make it look like he was sleeping. Gap-bok earned himself the title of the Korean Houdini, who ran to a remote mountain after
Did he go clear?
escaped.
Let's see.
Come on. He went
Oh,
clear.
yeah,
He went
He
clear.
went clear.
Gap-bok through the gap.
David Sweat and Richard Matt. In June 2015, 34-year-old David Sweat and 48-year-old Richard Matt executed a Shawshank Redemption-style escape from the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York. They cut through the steel wall in the back of their cell, then crawled down a catwalk, broke through a brick wall, cut their way in and out of a steam pipe, and then sliced through the chain and lock on a manhole cover outside the prison. Then the 2 had to shimmy down the pipe before cutting themselves out again. Sweat and Matt were both serving time for murder, and they spent about 3 weeks on the run before reaching a standoff with cops. Matt was killed and Sweat was recaptured.
Well,
Didn't even break a sweat.
Oh, Toby.
I mean, to be fair, if you're in prison, it's probably a good way to occupy yourself. Do a little planning. Like, what else
I
are you
mean,
gonna do?
you've got nothing here. Like,
Nothing better to do.
something to do, innit?
true, yeah.
Not that we condone it.
How much extra time do you get if you escape and they catch you? Because surely
I think
how
they
much-
just-
Depends, man. It changes
They just
person
bang
to
you up
person,
forever.
man.
I think
surely,
most
but-
of these people are serving like so long anyway
Yeah.
that
It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
these like never getting parole. Like,
Well, probably worth it then. I'd say go for it.
Well, no, we're not condoning this.
I'd say don't be there in the first place, please. Thank you. All right.
Alright, see you guys in a
To the
bit.
next one. Peace.